conference can begin, and that of course means that policy documents that had been proposed, they had the policy meeting earlier in the year, these can now be adopted as official ANC policy, and whoever takes over, these are the policies that he or she will have to be carrying on behalf of the party, and that's what we're going to be seeing. But the next important step is going to be the presentation of the organizational report and the Treasurer General's report, and then we're going to get into the process of finding out who the next president is, because the delegates themselves have been verified, their credentials have been presented, and the conference is now officially underway.
I've got a couple of numbers. Let me talk you through some of these numbers, because I think this is vital, and these numbers are very, very telling. Which way the vote goes, well, that's also up for negotiation, because of course we do know that this is an anonymous vote. So what we've got right now is the adopted credentials, the confirmed adopted credentials of 4,776. So those are the voting numbers that we are looking for, and that's out of 5,186. There are 567 non-voting. Right. So, and these are obviously all because of the different court cases that came through, and those delegates that were nullified and are not able to vote. So listen to that number again, it's 4,776. Those are the votes that we are looking for. We've got voting that are present and unexpected. Out of the Western Cape, Peter, I know it would be nice to get the calculator out, because this is where you start predicting, and then the predictions that come through are quite accurate, but you never know where that vote might go. Out of the Western Cape, there's 136 of 182 votes, so 136 for the Western Cape. Out of Gauteng, we've got 491, and that's out of 508, so 491 confirmed votes for them. In Mpumalanga, 708 of those votes have been confirmed. 446 out of the Northwest, 632 for the Eastern Cape, KwaZulu-Natal 804, Limpopo 567, Free State 349. Remember, that was out of a potential 409, and the Northern Cape 193 out of 198. So the total is 4,326 votes out of a potential 4,731. I know these are a lot of numbers for everybody to start looking at. The PECs, all of those are 27, bar the Free State and KwaZulu-Natal. They are not able to have the PEC voting, so all of those votes are 27 per province PEC. And then, of course, it's the Women's League, it's the Youth League, it's the NEC, and the majority of those are 60 for the Youth League, 60 for the Women's League, 60 for the Veterans League, and then, of course, it's 86 for the NEC. And
I know that people at home are now being tempted to say, look, this province got this, that Cyril Ramaphosa got this province, etc., etc. Don't get carried away with that. All that happened at the provincial level is delivering nominees. The voting takes place here. So even if there are 700 odd delegates coming from KwaZulu-Natal, some of those will vote for Cyril, some of them will vote for Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, and some might even vote for others. So don't get your calculator out now and work it out on a provincial basis. All that we know is the number of delegates that are here and that are going to be afforded an opportunity to put a name across the name of preferred candidate. Yeah,
but if you want to bring out your calculator, you can, because I've already done that. So, and I'm sure someone else who's done it is sitting right next to us here. Okay, so we've got the credentials through. Are you also grabbing your calculator?
I am looking at the same numbers on my phone.
What are you thinking? I mean, let's talk numbers. Where are we going?
Yeah, I'm more inclined to go in the direction, because, you know, we don't know what these numbers, I mean, the numbers that you get shows that CR17 might get just a little over the 50 plus 1%.
Yeah.
But if I were him, or if I were Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, I would want to be more sure than the numbers that I see here. So I would like to have an extra 200 or an extra 150.
Okay.
That's the only way you can be sure you will win. So I'm afraid of doing too much with these numbers as we have them now, because, you know, a lot may still change.
All right. Well, a lot has been happening. We've seen Baleka Mbete withdrawing her candidacy. We're hearing that the Veterans League is trying to meet with both candidates to have a discussion with them to come up with a unified position to save the party. The credentials process is now over. What do you make of where we are now on day 2, which I suppose in real terms is really the beginning of the conference?
You know, I think the statement by Baleka Mbete, while she may not have a lot of numbers behind her, is quite important. I think it's important because she's saying that she's not going to go with the NDZ. That's an important signal for the CR17 camp, to know that someone of her nature, someone of her stature is in their camp. So I think that's what's going to happen now. Is the psychological games are going to start playing out. You know, people showing their colors, people encouraging people to vote in one direction or the other, and you know, but sooner or later it will all come to an end. But I think it is psychological games, it is intense lobbying, and if there are brown envelopes, this is the time for them to start moving below the tables.
But it is an anonymous vote. So even if you do get a brown envelope, I mean, you put it in your pocket and you still vote according to who you want to vote for. Or am I being naive?
Yeah, depending on what the contract is.
Yeah.
If the contract is that you must bring some proof of how you voted.
No cell phones allowed, there is no proof. So
yeah. It's going to be very difficult for people to prove. I think you are probably right. People are going to vote. I mean, I was struck by that lady who, at the opening yesterday, prayed and almost cried at the beginning of the prayer. The message that she was, she had in the prayer was, "Vusunembeza," you know, awaken the consciences of people. So it seems to me that this might be the conference of consciences, where people will vote with their consciences, despite the mandates. And the people who vote with their consciences are probably going to make the difference as to who wins and who doesn't win, given the closeness of the contestation.
I know guessing is dangerous, and I know both of you are being very, very responsible here by not trying to guess, but let's play. Why not? I mean, we've got time. The facts are going to unfold before our eyes. But at this point in time, what we know, and the facts on the table, is that there are 4,776 voting credentials given. They've been awarded. That's the number we're dealing with. So the winner has to get 2,389. Where are we? I mean, if we just look at it and say, okay, well, with the provinces that we know, with the leagues that we know, who is running ahead?
You know, each camp has been sending WhatsApp messages showing that their camp
is winning.
Is winning.
Okay.
So, and you can expect that. I mean, I've received 2 WhatsApp messages from both camps a few moments ago, showing that the numbers are stacked in their favor.
Yeah.
So there is no way of telling this. Until it actually happens.
But I'm going to follow up on Baleka Mbete. She's made her announcements and you've talked about it. What we haven't spoken about is Lindiwe Sisulu as well. It looks like she's going to be on the deputy president camp for Cyril Ramaphosa. We're seeing these women, strong women, endorsing Cyril. Is that not a signal that perhaps there's conversations that have taken place and maybe they've done the calculations?
I think each camp has done the calculations, and each camp thinks it's winning. Right. so I think they've done the calculations. You are correct. But each one thinks. I mean, think of Mangaung. When we were in Mangaung, we were drinking coffee late into the night. Each camp telling us how they are going to win. Until the announcement.
And it wasn't even close.
It wasn't even a close vote. This is close.
This is close. So I think that's what's going to happen. We're going to get a lot of this lobbying, because I think what's happening now is that those people who seem to be in doubt as to which direction to vote The idea now is to send enough messages to the other side that says, my side is winning. You better join the winning side.
Wow. Can we break it down by province though, and that would be, you know, according to who's got the most votes. I have them in front of me, so I'm not gonna make you go and dig onto your phone as well. So the leading province with the most amount of votes is KwaZulu-Natal.
Oh yeah.
Even though they had a potential 870, and we know after court rulings that those have come down.
They still lead,
but they're still leading. So they've got 804 votes in their favour. I mean, that is. It always has been a Zuma stronghold, whether it be a Jacob Zuma stronghold or in Nkosazana Dlamini's stronghold. I imagine it's still in the same camp. So that's a large amount of votes that one could assume are going to NDZ.
You know, that's a very important point, that even with the votes that have been disqualified, in the provinces where NDZ was leading, she still leads.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, the strongest province is the province that can deliver the votes intact. In other words, the province whose candidate, whose delegates will not vote with their conscience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who will obey. Now, will they obey? We know that KwaZulu-Natal, big as it is not totally united. Even though Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma is winning. And the dynamics of things that have happened, you know, the court cases, did they take away some of the psychological resilience of the people? Have these been working on people? The fact that cases have been lost in a number of provinces, the court rulings of the week. So there's been a lot of things that are now playing on the, if you like, consciences of the delegates.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to tell, but you are right. KwaZulu-Natal is so strong in numbers. But
yeah.
Is it totally united?
That's the big question we need to see.
Mpumalanga is so strong in numbers.
That's the important one, because the Mpumalanga one is that swing vote. Mpumalanga vote is that vote that we don't know where it's going to go.
Well, it's more than a swing vote, because, you know, now they are the second largest.
Yeah.
So they are not just going to swing, they could make things happen.
Yeah, 708 votes, yes, just to keep people in the picture.
So it's quite an important one, but I think the conscience might become stronger than the unity in Mpumalanga. But we will never know. I say this again, we'll never know until the fat lady sings.
Indeed. Well, not that I'm calling Jessie Duarte a fat lady. I'm certainly not doing that. But we've just seen a release coming through that Jessie Duarte, the Deputy General Secretary of the ANC, is about to brief the media. She'll be briefing us in about 10 minutes' time. So as soon as that does happen, we'll cross over to that press conference, and she'll obviously be talking to us about the adoption of those credentials by the plenary. So we'll wait and get all the confirmation coming through there. So